Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Recognize that the weather was a little unfortunate for everyone to be in early this morning. So again, appreciate the time taken this morning. First, as we get started, it is not lost on me that this is the second time in recent days that we are here to discuss a very significant incident in our city. It's tragic, and again, just want to continue to express our condolences to the loved ones of those who were killed in this tragedy. It is senseless and unnecessary, and any tragedy like this in our community affects everybody that lives here, all of those who call Lincoln home. This morning, Lincoln Police are investigating a fatal domestic violence incident. At this very early stage of the investigation, we believe it is a murder-suicide. It occurred just after midnight at an apartment complex in the area of 22nd and G Street in Southwest Lincoln. Officers responded around 12:10 this morning to the reports of gunshot. Our caller is a 13-year-old boy who resides within that apartment who reported that he and his mother had both been shot. When they arrived, officers found a 44-year-old Lincoln man deceased in the second-floor bedroom of the apartment with what appeared, at this point in the investigation, to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A 40-year-old Lincoln woman was also found with an apparent gunshot wound. Lincoln Fire and Rescue, our partners in public safety in Lincoln, responded. They did take her to a local hospital where she died from her injuries. Paramedics took the 13-year-old boy, who was our 911 caller, to the hospital in critical condition, again with an apparent gunshot wound. He was immediately taken into surgery, and we are incredibly grateful this morning to be able to share that he is expected to survive these traumatic injuries. Again, right now, we believe that the man shot the woman and the boy before taking his own life. A gun and multiple casings were found in the apartment unit. We are not going to be releasing the names of those involved this morning. Again, that is to give time to the family to be able to grieve and to notify other loved ones and their family. At this time, it really remains unclear to us whether this couple was married, but honestly, the official status of their relationship is not the primary focus of this investigation. This morning, the priority for us is really to understand what happened and why it happened. Officers did also find two other siblings inside of this residence, a 15-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy. Thankfully, neither of them were physically injured in the shooting, but undoubtedly we understand that they will be experiencing emotional distress from this senseless tragedy happening within their home and their family. Both of these uninjured children were taken to Breifing Child Advocacy Center for forensic interviews. We want to thank our partners. They got up in the middle of the night to be there to assist with these young victims in our community, and we're just continually thankful for the resources and partnerships that we have assisting us in these types of events. LPD is also working very closely with Lincoln Public Schools, where all 3 children attend. LPS is always very proactive in providing support and services to impacted families and students when violence and tragedy affects their homes. Families who need extra support are encouraged to reach out to the schools today. We do recognize and understand that the district is closed, but we're told tomorrow the counselors will be in the schools and available for those students. As we all know, this is the second fatal domestic violence incident in Lincoln within the last month. Our hearts continue to break for those that whose lives have just been unnecessarily cut short by the perpetrators of domestic violence, and I want to make sure that we make that very clear that it is the actions of these perpetrators who we need to continue to hold accountable in our community for the violence that they inflict within their homes. These actions cause irreversible harm to these families in our community. We do want to remind the community that there are many domestic violence resources offered in Lincoln, and again, we continue to be grateful for that. One of those is right here at the Lincoln Police Department, our Victim Assistance Unit, who is here for anyone that is in need of support or guidance, not only for domestic violence, but for other crimes as well. Voices of Hope and Friendship Home work very diligently to protect and uplift survivors in our community, and they are also always available and a resource to those in need. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7. I want to provide that number. That is 800-799-SAFE. That is 7233, 800-799-7233. We want to reiterate again that we are just hours into this investigation, coming in just after midnight last night. Our criminal investigation unit will continue to piece together the circumstances of this tragedy. That's additional interviews. We have autopsies that we expect to be conducted soon that will help to determine the official cause and manner of death. We continue to appreciate your patience, and I'll open it up for what questions that I can answer this morning. Yes.
Within this case, and y'all, again, very early in the investigation, have there been any on-record previous contact with them about domestic disturbances?
To my knowledge, we don't have a history with this family. Yes.
Can you say what the relationship was with the 13-year-old with either of the people?
And I apologize, I didn't repeat the first question. I know that's often not picked up. So the first question was, do we have a history? And that is, to my knowledge, we don't have a history with this family known to the Lincoln Police Department. The second question, the relationship of the children. Again, there was a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. The 15-year-old and the 13-year-old have a father that is a different individual than the man in the apartment last night. We do believe that he is the father of the 8-year-old in the home.
So the woman was not related to any of the...
They're her children.
They are her children?
Yes, all three are her children. There's just two known separate fathers.
And did the 13-year-old make the call after he was shot or before he was shot?
After. He made the call after he was shot. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just for the sake of that context, were the current man and woman involved in this case married or no?
Again, the question is the relationship of the man and woman in the apartment, and we haven't yet officially determined that. That will be a part of the investigation of whether they were married or not, but again, to be quite clear, that is really secondary. Really, our investigation is to determine exactly what happened and why, and the relationship will be determined as that investigation continues.
The man was found upstairs in a bedroom?
It's a single floor,
Single
but
floor.
he was in a back bedroom
Back
of
bedroom.
the apartment complex.
Where was she at?
She was in a different location, still within the apartment.
Where was she shot?
I don't want to release where either one of them were shot at this time. Again, as part of our investigation and the necessary autopsies that will be conducted, we want to wait until we have all of the information very succinct and clear before we provide it.
You made mention of the separate relationships with the kids. Sorry about that. But was the man and woman living there at the time?
To our knowledge, both the man and the woman lived together in the apartment with the 3 children. Yes, sir.
Is it apparent if any of the other children suffered any injury whatsoever beyond the 13-year-old?
Again, we're very thankful that the 15-year-old and the 8-year-old did not have any physical injuries from this incident.
And were they awake? Were they present when the mother was shot?
So the question is whether the children were awake and present. We clearly know the 13-year-old was involved to some degree or another, or came upon the incident because he is shot in this incident. For the other 2 children, the 15 and the 8-year-old, that is knowledge that we don't yet have, as that was a part of the interviews that were conducted at the Brave BCAC, and we are waiting patiently for that information to be forthcoming.
So it's not clear if the 13-year-old tried to intervene in some way?
The 13-year-old was very quickly rushed to the hospital where he immediately underwent surgery. So our ability to interview him and understand what he saw, heard, experienced is still yet to be determined.